Thank you for having me. And I would like to thank Steve and Shelly for their courage and their perseverance in arranging all the summits and fighting for increasing awareness of Naegleria fowleri and all of the amoeba, the free-living amoeba that cause infections. So just a few words about Philip. This is Philip. This is from the year before he passed away. He died 10 years ago now, this past August. And he had been tubing with his cousins at Polk County Lake, Spring-fed lake, very popular with lots of lovely houses living around it. And about a week after he had gone tubing, he developed a headache. And from the time that he developed a headache to the time that he was declared brain dead, it was about three days. So we well understand what Steve and Shelly have gone through. Tim and I, just for a little bit of background on us, I've been an infectious disease specialist for over 20 years. I'm an associate professor at the University of South Florida in infectious diseases. My husband has also been a physician for over 20 years. He's medical director for hospital pediatrics at Lakeland Regional Health. And this happened to us, even though we had an awareness of Naegleria fowleri, particularly in our specialties. And we thought it was rare. I have no conflicts of interest to disclose. One of the things we've had an opportunity to do since Philip died, there was a memorial fund, USF Foundation Memorial Fund, established in Philip's name by my then division director in infectious disease, Dr. John Sinnott, who's now chair of medicine at USF Health. And with this fund, we have given scholarships to medical students who do outstanding work in infectious diseases and a number of things. But this is one of the ones, one of the projects that has been most important to us. And it's the Summer is Amoeba Season campaign. It consists of a website, amoebaseason.com, where we have links to a variety of sources of information for both the lay public and for health professionals, and all reliable sources of information. And the focus of this Summer is Amoeba Season campaign is public awareness and prevention. So it runs from May to August every year since 2014. Hope to keep it going as long as we can. And along with the website, we have a few different things that we do, but the main messages that you'll see from the campaign are the idea that summer is amoeba season, so that people sort of like flu is winter is flu season. It is 99% fatal, but 100% preventable because it's so easy to prevent. And that even though it is rare, it is not rare, like you said, when it happens to you. And there's a little bit more to that message. So a few things that we have, and you'll see out there, I've got a basket with wristbands that we give away. We've got, there's some little temporary tattoos and things like that. And we've got postcards that have a lot of information front and back that we try to distribute to the community, to local daycares and that sort of thing. and people can request them at our website. And you're free to take as many as you'd like. We have social media campaign where I try to post messages about prevention. I try to post updates from the literature, from CDC, other amoeba awareness groups. One of my efforts has been to try to reach out to other families who've lost family members, loved ones to free-living amoeba, and to sort of coordinate our efforts and coordinate the message of prevention. Because I think if you look back at so many other messages that have gone viral in recent years, there's nothing that speaks more strongly than the word of parents, parents to parents. And I think that's what has helped us to expand on this message and work with the Smelskis to promote the increasing awareness. One of the most important things, I think, the most impactful things, I think, that we've done in the last several years is a digital billboard campaign. And we've have been running this campaign, same May through August, for about 4 years now. And we have a series of digital billboards that my daughter designed, and just different messages about prevention. And so the billboards that we have run on I-4, east and westbound, just outside of Dover, sort of in between Tampa and Orlando, if you will. And so they cycle every 9 minutes. We have another billboard that comes up on both sides. And I'm very happy and very grateful to the Smelski Foundation for partnering with us this year to keep the billboards going. If it weren't for them, we probably would not have the billboards going this year, so thank you so much. And so part of that, we've added their logo to all of the billboard signs, and we've come up with additional billboards to share the message, the joint message, and increase the impact of our message. And I guess lastly, I just want to touch on that the word that we hate the most is the word rare. That's the biggest barrier that I feel I run into when trying to raise awareness about prevention and the risk of Naegleria fowleri. As everybody says, oh, but it's rare. And that's what happened to us. Our son would not have died if we had not said, oh, well, it's rare. If we had given him nose clips or have not let him go tubing, he would still be with us. So, when I see patients every day, when I go to you and I say, you have a bloodstream infection, and I am here to treat you, and I have antibiotics that I can offer you, and I have antibiotic A that causes diarrhea pretty frequently. It's really annoying. I've got antibiotic B. Does not cause that many problems very often, but sometimes it can cause kidney failure, and you'll wind up on dialysis. I think probably, most people that I talk to, they don't want dialysis. They prefer to go with the lower risk. And I think that's the point of when you're making risk assessments and providing risk messages, it's not just the probability that's important, it's also the impact, the seriousness of the event that you're trying to prevent. So when you go out and you promote the message of awareness and prevention, just bear that in mind, that it's also important to consider the impact rather than just the probability. And with that, I'll leave you. And I really appreciate all of you being here and sharing what you learn here with others, and continue this work. Thank you.
Would you mind staying up here for a minute?
Yeah.
So, you've heard me talk today. You've heard Dr. Gompf talk today. We're not the only ones that suffer from this. There's a lot of other families. I wanted to ask Shelly to come up, and Dr. Gompf, if you would come up. I'd like to ask Katlyn to come up. And Amanda, would you mind coming up? So, they say it's rare, and there's very few numbers worldwide, and yet there's 4 cases here, 2 from Balamuthia, 2 from Naegleria. And tonight at dinner, you're going to meet the dad of another boy who died in Houston a couple years ago. That's 5 cases. So, everybody may say it's rare. They may say there aren't that many cases, but if you ask any one of us, we will tell you it's not rare when it happens to somebody you love. So I had 30 slides, but we don't have time for those. So I forego the slides to just let you see there's a lot of other families that would have liked to have been here and that they couldn't travel in. It's all over the U.S., it's international. So this is just a few of us, and we're here asking you for your help because we don't want to see it happen to anybody else's child. So that's why we've asked you to come. That's why we've asked you to participate. And we say thank you for everything that you've done. We want you to know there's a lot more of us. I mean, we've been in contact with several families. They would have liked to have come, they couldn't make it, and we'll continue reaching out to them. We'd like to see the participation grow, and you get to hear some of the other stories. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and finish this portion of it, but I'm not sure if anybody wanted to say anything. This is not easy.
I appreciate it. My cousin passed away from Balamuthia almost 5 years ago, so the same year that Jordan passed. And it was a terrific experience. So just knowing that you guys are all spending so much time and effort to try to understand these amoebas, it's really impressive. And a lot of people appreciate you for what you're doing because it's very impactful. We started a small foundation, Team Coral Reef, in her honor. And we go to small health-type venues and present information about wearing nose clips and different, I don't know if I can hold this, I start shaking, sorry. They hold nose clips. We give out nose clips and talk about amoeba awareness and how important it is, because I think just people take for granted when you hear that rare, you just shut it down, and you don't ever think that rare is going to be so close to home. And like they said, we're all standing up here because it hit us hard, and rare almost seems impossible or not likely at all, but it does happen, and it is preventable, and I appreciate all that you guys are doing.
Thank you, Katlyn.
Can I just say something real quick? So I just want to say that I just want to give Sandra so many kudos, because I have yet to be able to get up and share Jordan's story, and it's been 5 years. And I just want to say that time does not heal this wound, and it is something you never get over. It's something you just constantly go through. But if it wasn't for the love of this community and the hospital system and everyone here that wants to make a difference, we would be nowhere. So we are so grateful for all of you for coming and participating, and please do share the word with as many people as you can. And please take all the medical professionals and all of the folks studying this, please continue to take it back to your communities and share and share and share. Thank you.
Amber.
Thank you. I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot, but
I didn't tell you, I'm sorry.
it's fine. Our son Leland was 6 years old, and he too passed from Balamuthia. We also have started a nonprofit called the Leland Shoemake Foundation, and we bring awareness. We had never heard of it before. This is not something you hear about. People say brain-eating amoeba, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's something you see in movies. And even nowadays, when it makes the news, you primarily hear about Naegleria. When it makes the news, you don't hear anything about Balamuthia. So when we were up at the hospital with our son, Coral Reef's mother had actually sent me a message. I did not get that for weeks until after our son had passed, just because his story had made it globally, and my messages were flooded. So I'm thankful to Sybil for reaching out to me, putting me in contact with these other wonderful people. You know, rare, we say it's a bad word in our house because we do have other children. It's not rare when it happens to you and you never think that it will. Any parent's biggest fear is losing your child, but after that happens to you, your biggest fear is that they will be forgotten. So what you guys are doing is amazing. What Sybil and the rest of you guys are doing, as well as the Gompfs, it's what we live for now. So you guys being here, it warms our hearts, but it also helps us to not only on the medical side, you know, further the research and change the protocols and things like that, but also knows that for whatever reason that we will never understand, our child had to leave. Hopefully it wasn't in vain and we are helping to save lives. So thank you.
Tim.
Sandy actually does all the work for the amoebaseason.com. She is the one who needs to take the credit for it. But one thing I will say, as a pediatric hospitalist, there have been a few cases in my career of children who have died of meningitis where no explanation, no organism was ever found. And since I've lost my son and people know that I've lost my son, I've heard stories from people even in my own community of a family member who died from meningitis and they never knew what type of meningitis. So I think, you know, rare, it is rare, but it's not as rare as we think. We probably are better at diagnosing it now than we used to be, but I think there's probably a lot more families who've lost loved ones to this disease and they don't have an answer.